Okay, so we're going to be doing an outlook here for the week ahead. Today is June 7th, 2026. And before I get started, just a reminder once again, everything that is published on my channel is for educational or entertainment purposes only. If you need help with like your investments and stuff, make sure you consult your financial advisor. And with that out of the way, we're going to analyze the markets here. Taking a look at the currencies, metals, energies, indices, and also crypto. Okay, so taking a look at the US dollar. Okay, so this is kind of interesting because last weekend, I remember that I said that I saw the smart money kind of building short positions. They are still doing that, even though I know we did go up. One of the things that I was watching was to see if we would actually close below the 20-day moving average, which we haven't. So there is still more room to go up here as far as the US dollar. So I think we're going to see probably more US dollar strength. How much? I'm not sure. Okay, so that's just my bias for now. I'm still biased to the downside on the US dollar, but I'm not actually selling just yet because I need to see basically price close below. Okay, so I want to see this pretty much happen. So I want the price to close below this moving average. And also I would like to see this moving average kind of turn around like that. Okay, to basically let me know that the momentum has, changed. We don't have that just yet, which means we probably have more room to go. Let me just turn that off. Okay, which means the euro is probably going to go down, which we do in fact see, and you can actually see it right here. We're below the moving average, but I'm not interested in this just yet because as you can see, the smart money is starting to buy, or at least, build long positions in the market for the euro. So they are expecting the euro to go up. The British pound, you kind of see it a bit, but it is turning around here. So this is kind of interesting. Also, the Swiss franc. Okay, so they are building positions to the long side. Japanese yen is very interesting. We are at pretty much all-time lows here on the Japanese yen. Now, this one you got to be very careful of because the last time I believe there was probably intervention around this area. Okay, because sometimes, and I know with the Japanese yen, oftentimes the central bank tends to intervene. Okay, and when they intervene, they kind of push the market up like that. And we right now are at these levels. I think we will probably drift down, but if they get involved, you will see a massive spike up. I'm not really interested in the Japanese yen. If anything, I would be buying it. But only once we close above the 20-day moving average, which we haven't. Okay, so I'm kind of staying away from the Japanese yen for now. Let's see. Canadian dollar is going down, which falls in line. Actually, wait. This has changed. This is very interesting. So I think last weekend, we were looking at the commercials, the smart money. They were kind of down here. Notice how they've actually changed directions. They are starting to buy the Canadian dollar. But does that mean that I should stop buying now? Nope, because once again, we need to close above this 20-day moving average, which we haven't. You can see the Australian dollar is starting to turn up here. But I think we have more downside for the Australian dollar. We are also very extreme. For example, if we look at the retail traders, so look at how extreme the retail traders, usually when the retail traders start buying at these levels, when it's very extreme, you want to be selling. So right now we should be selling. These levels have not been, the retail traders have not been at these levels since 2013. So since 2013 and 2006. Yeah, I'm looking at how extreme these are. Actually, it's kind of all-time extreme. We haven't seen these levels since 2001. I didn't even go back as far as that. Look at how far. Yeah, okay. So I think we're going to see more downside on the Australian dollar for sure, based on what I'm seeing here. Um, we typically want to go all the way down to the bottom here, which, I mean, this is going to drop quite a bit, I think. So yeah, I'm going to mark off the Australian dollar, okay, because I'm going to be watching to see where I can possibly short this from. If I had to put a level or a zone as far as supply and demand, we actually have a very nice zone here. For anyone who trades supply and demand, we have a drop base drop formation. So we could potentially see this. Okay, so I will be watching this level here. Now, if you trade Forex, because this is the Australian dollar futures, I can just select that. It's pretty much the same, okay? But obviously the prices will be different because the futures market is regulated. It's more centralized. So the prices for the Australian dollar will be the same across all the brokers for the futures market, but the Forex market, it will vary. But this is the level you want to watch for the Forex market. Okay, so I'm going to mark that. Hold on, let me just close that. Yeah, so I'm looking at the New Zealand dollar here. You can see that we are touching the extreme level here. So we're going to be seeing more downside on the New Zealand dollar. Okay, so we are below the 20-day moving average. And just like the Australian dollar, we have the same formation. Okay, so if you're looking at the New Zealand dollar, I would be watching this zone here for potential drop. Let's just do that. I don't know if I can zoom in a bit more here for you guys. Okay, so that level. This is on the futures market. If you're trading Forex, you just kind of match up the price if you can find it. So let me just see if I can find it here for you guys. Okay, so this is the NZD USD. That is the zone you want to be watching. We could potentially see a spike up or a gap up when the market opens in a few hours. Okay, so that is the Kiwi. And then gold, let's see what gold is doing. Oh. Okay, so the commercials, the smart money, they are buying gold here, you can see. Although we're not above the 20-day moving average, I'm not going to get involved with this. Silver, we're below. Let's see, what about platinum? I'm not going to get involved with silver or platinum. Copper is kind of interesting because they are building short positions. And if you take a look at this, we are below the 20-day moving average. I would like to see the moving average kind of turn around though. But we do just do this. We do have a nice supply formation here. We have a drop-based drop. Okay, so kind of like the Australian dollar, I would be watching this zone over here. Okay, because we could potentially pull up, collect the orders, the sell orders, and then this thing is just going to drop. But I would be watching that zone for this week. What about crude oil? Okay, so crude oil, last week I said I was shorting. We did spike up. We kind of filled the gap here. And now it looks like we are dropping. You can see the commercials are still near the bottom here. So I think we may see more downside as far as crude oil goes. You can see what it looks like on the daily, but I don't know if I see any. Actually, wait. We have a 12-hour zone here. Okay, so yeah, we might potentially pull up into this area. I just noticed we have a bit of a fair value gap for anyone who trades ICT. I don't trade ICT, but there is a bit of a gap here between the bottom of this wick. This is on the 12-hour though, the 12-hour chart. So what I sometimes look at is the bottom of this wick and the top of this wick. You can see there's a gap here. Okay, so if I did this, See how there's a gap, which means price may potentially actually pull up. It might pull up, follow the gap, and then drop back down. Yeah, it could do that. I'll keep an eye on that. But I will be biased to the short side. I'm going to be looking to sell crude oil depending on what happens. Okay, so that is crude oil. What about natural gas? Natural gas, the smart money is still buying heavily. You can see this, and I believe we are above the 20-day moving average, which we are. Now, the thing is, where is this going to bounce at? Now, I could potentially see, I see a potential zone here. So natural gas, actually, we have kind of intersected there. This one's going to be kind of tough. We might actually be dropping further here, but I was thinking we could potentially see it come down here and then bounce. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Let's see. What about this? Yeah, we have a gap here. We might drop down to this zone. I will be watching it. Okay, the natural gas. I don't know if I'm going to trade it, but I will definitely watch it. But I am bullish on natural gas. What about? Okay, so for the indices, I can't use COT index. I got to use valuation for that because COT isn't as reliable for the indices, but I can use this somewhat for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so for Bitcoin, you notice how we're at an extreme low here, which means I could see Bitcoin dropping even further, which is kind of crazy because this thing has dropped all the way. What were we at here? Like 83,000 down to 61,300. That's crazy. You know what? I think this thing is going to drop further. I mean, look at the moving average. Okay, so it's telling you that the momentum is starting to shift even more to the downside. So I'm not going to trade Bitcoin, but if I was to trade it, I would be selling. And the same goes with Ethereum. Okay, so you can see Ethereum, they're starting to push lower. We actually have a drop-based drop here too. So if there's any sell orders, this is just me personally, but if I was to trade between Bitcoin and Ethereum based on what I see on my chart, Ethereum is a cleaner setup. Okay, so I would be shorting from around this area if it gets up there, because I think there may be sell orders over here. We have a drop-based drop formation, so we might potentially see this happen here. Okay, like that. So I will be watching. Ethereum, and yeah, that's pretty much my outlook. I'm trying to keep it short here for the markets ahead. This week coming up, the ones that I think most interested in, based on what I'm seeing here, is going to be definitely the Australian dollar, maybe crude oil and natural gas. So I'm going to be focused mostly on those markets, potentially the Canadian dollar. Although, I don't know. We'll see about the Canadian dollar. We do see a nice formation here, so let's just mark this off here. So Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, crude oil, natural gas, and then for the, for the indices, because I didn't do the indices, we have to use valuation for this. Let me just do this quickly. Okay, so Dow Jones is actually going to be dropping a little bit more. We were overvalued. We're now undervalued, but only just barely. We're near the mean, which tells me that actually the Dow Jones may drop further. So now the thing is, how far down can this thing drop? I mean, we could see quite a drop here. I see a bit of a gap over here as well. So if I had to guess, I would be watching this area. Although, let me try to refine this zone. Okay, so we have a zone over here. The Dow Jones may drop down to the zone here, and we may get a bounce. Okay, so we might see something like this. It might also go right through. I don't know. But yeah, I would be watching that particular zone. That's the Dow Jones. Nasdaq, this thing did a nasty drop. Look at that. And we are almost at an extreme low here. like almost extremely undervalued, which tells me that there's actually going to be a bounce coming very soon. We have a gap over here, but also I see multiple potential zones where the market may be headed, and we might be collecting buy orders from either this zone here or from this zone over here. So let me just draw that. Okay, so I would be watching these two zones if we get there. I would say if you want to trade, go aggressively, again, not financial advice, but I could see this as being the very aggressive buy, and this is being more conservative. If it drops down to the second zone, then I would be looking to potentially buy depending on what kind of price action I see. But yeah, I would be watching this bottom level here. The S&P 500, we are also very, this is undervalued, very extreme here. So there is going to be a bounce potentially. There's two zones here that I see. Again, so this first zone I'm marking because I see a bit of a gap here between the top of the wick and the bottom of this wick here, which it might fill. But I also see it on this zone over here. Okay, so we might potentially see a drop down to the bottom zone, and then we might push up. I would be keeping an eye on those levels. And what about the Russell? Also extremely undervalued. This is also going to be, bouncing up. Although I'm trying to see where could it potentially bounce from. Okay, so we could actually see this here. That is a very big zone, though. If we're looking at daily chart, let's see if we can try to refine it. Okay, so maybe this zone here, the bottom. Okay, so I would be watching maybe this one here, and also, let's see, daily. I would also be watching this zone. Okay, so there may be some more downside when the market opens in a few hours. We could see quite a big drop. It's quite possible, but I think there's going to be a bounce coming soon because typically when it comes to valuation, so this indicator that I'm using right here, the campus valuation, this is from Ben Skopinski's course, the OTC course, so online trading campus. These are the extreme levels. Basically, what it means is once we get down to these levels, undervalued, quite often the market does bounce. Okay, so if you take a look at here, it bounced up. This here, notice how it gapped up and went up. This area here went up. Over here, went up a bit. Over here, shot up. So you see, whenever we're at these levels, and I can go back even over here. Okay, look at this. We went up. And what about over here? We went up, we went up. Okay, so we are at a level where we could potentially see a bounce. I'm not sure we're going to see a bounce over here. We could, but I have a feeling we may gap down, and there might be some sort of capitulation or like exhaustion, and then we're going to bounce up. I think that's what's probably going to happen when it comes to the indices, at least in the next few hours. When the market opens, we could potentially see a very nasty gap. But yeah, that's pretty much my forecast. I don't want to say prediction, but my outlook for the markets, coming up this week. I will be focused on the Canadian dollar, the Australian dollar, crude oil, natural gas. I sometimes trade. It really depends. Probably on this paper trade account, I'll do it. Let's see. Thinking I may watch Nasdaq, and I may watch the S&P 500. Those are the markets I'm going to be focused on for this week. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as my outlook goes for the week ahead. Once again, guys, if you enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I'm hoping to grow this channel to 500 subscribers. Once I get there, then I may start actually live streaming. And who knows, maybe we can get some affiliate codes for anyone who is interested. If they're trading prop firm accounts, if I can get that, that would actually help this channel a lot. So if there's any prop firms out there who won't mind me using like affiliate codes and stuff, and they want me to promote them, just let me know. And I think that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, thank you guys for watching. Stay safe. And until the next video, I'll catch you guys later.